The earth rumbled in Japan overnight with a large tsunami earthquake. It's TiffanysContent, and we're going to talk about it right there in the epicenter of Japan with the 7.6 magnitude. It rocked the Ishikawa area and definitely took a toll on that area with buildings crumbling and rumbling down. Everyone is looking for family, places, people, things that used to be there, and it is definitely some deep rumble under the grounds. It is a catastrophe that hit overnight. I will share with you some pictures, but please make sure viewer discretion is advised. It's just the way that the earth is rumbling right now. In fact, there has been more earthquakes right after that 7.6 magnitude that hit 34 in a row, going down from 4.6 to 5.7. A lot of earthquakes rumbled right after that, leaving this area in shatters. So I'm sharing with you some pictures. We're going to have some videos and look at some of the images that happened overnight on our Zoom Earth, just to see where all that pressure was. But just looking at these images, it is very sad just to see that everything is in rumbles and shambles right now. It is going to be a very hard time starting for the new year, just cleaning up all of this big mess that Mother Nature has created the very first day of the year. But the good news is that most houses and homes are built for this magnitude in Japan, because it is common. So that's the thing, it's very common. So all of the houses are built just for these strong earthquakes, tsunamis. In fact, the meteorology department has, lowered the warnings for this right before it hit. They went down from a tsunami just to some, regular warnings. But right after that came a huge earthquake, and with that became rain and a lot of water because that tsunami hit. In fact, those waters were so warm, and it could not turn into a hurricane or a tropical storm. So what else did it do? It made an earthquake happen and rumble and crack the ground. So everybody make sure that you're aware of this. All the images are starting to come out right now. Make sure that you definitely watch that video that I put out there before. You can see all the people are running in catastrophe, trying to just find a place to stay for tonight. But again, I put out a video last week just giving you some ideas on these, investigations that they have that are following right behind these earthquakes. Let's take a look at Zoom Earth. You're going to see right where that red is, that's that pressure coming right out of North Korea that's going to meet right into the epicenter of Japan and take a toll on it. Look at the dates right there. This is December 31st going into the new year, and what's happening overnight. You're going to just see all that blue move away and all that red pressure come in. Just take a look at that. It's just warm, surface area coming around, meeting with that, pushing that cold, low pressure out, and it just built a big old storm. It was 41 knots for the wind. Let's take a look at the wind speed during that night. And again, this is the December 31st. We're going right into the new year just to see what happened overnight. And look at all that wind, all that speed, whipping up and trying to whip into a hurricane, or a cyclone, what they call it over there. It's definitely a super, winds that are trying to come through during this time of the year where the weather is supposed to be a little colder. But look at that. It turns right from red to blue, and let's take a look on that radar, and you can see just where all that precipitation, where all that cloud cover, where all those winds are. Just on the radar will give you a better picture of all that, gray coming in, that blue coming in, all that, rain and thunderstorms. It's whipping up and trying to make a swirl, and this is when it happens right overnight, and definitely rock the nation over there, and just giving everybody, some hard times during that morning. It's very hard to talk about. All the pictures are coming in. Just make sure that you're aware of, and you can see it on the radar that this is what they had to deal with overnight. All that rain coming through, all that, and they're just thinking that it's regular rain, and then boom, another, tsunami hits and then it turns into an earthquake. So taking a look at this chart, you're going to see right there, it was 34, earthquakes that just hit in the past 24 hours. The biggest one was a 7.5 going up to 7.6 magnitude, and then there was 49 in 7 days, and in the whole year 597 earthquakes. Okay, but we only hear about the big ones. Okay, so this is very important. It's common in that area, but it's just hard to deal with when people and places cannot be found with all the rumble. You cannot even, streets don't look the same, anything. People are running, things are just displaced and disorganized, and people don't know what to do or where to go. There's nobody to call. There's nobody, there's rescuers coming in, but it happened to the whole town. So again, in the description, you're going to see a full description, more details of everything that's going on. It's very heartbreaking. It hit world news worldwide. So I'm sure you heard about it or will be hearing about it, but this is more of the images that are coming in. It's just, building, craters right there in the earth, and almost lakes are starting to form. It's all the rumbles, and buildings are flipped upside down and just turned inside out, and all that rain from leftover tsunami that swirled up is right there. And again, it was windy. It was 41 knots, and that's windy for not knowing what's going on. And then an earthquake hit. Again, there's nowhere to run or hide during this time. Those magnitudes are very powerful. As you can see, all the catastrophe, all the damage that it did to these communities, to these towns, whether they are prepared or not, it is still going to be some cleanup and a lot of hard work, a lot of broken hearts, definitely after this huge earthquake. So make sure that you're watching that video that I did last week. It'll give you a better idea of when they're saying there's investigations or tropical storms that are coming out. Sometimes it don't even be that. It could be a tsunami or earthquake. So just make sure that you're aware when they're putting out those warnings, or that's why I like to show you maps of things that's going on, and it may not be a investigation or a tropical storm, but it could be a big old earthquake that's happening. So it's very serious when we share these warnings, and I share all this information that I know, and I'm doing all this research because I want you to be safe and aware and just kind of know what's going on in the world. So please join my page, subscribe. I love sharing the weather with everybody and trying to get you a head start on what's happening and giving you a preview of what has happened, and just making sure that everybody is safe and knowing what's going on in the weather community. It's Tiffany's Content. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Happy New Year. I'm sorry that this happened.